Hello.
Hello.
Where's my PA?
Paul, where did you watch the Arsenal game last night, and what did you make of it?
I went to Bayern Munich, flew out from Leeds Airport on Tuesday night. Now I watched it in my lounge. My wife was trying to get me to stick it over to EastEnders, but I won the day. So I watched it. I watched it in the lounge with my son and my wife. Yeah.
What did you think of their performance?
I thought for the first 47 minutes, I thought they looked as though they could get even 2-1 in front at one point. So for 47 minutes, they looked, if not the better team, certainly on a par. And then Bayern Munich went into Bayern Munich mode, and in fairness, I think they'd have beaten anybody, any English Premiership team in that 45 minutes. So it's no disgrace. I know the result's going to sound poor, and I know there's going to be an overreaction to the result. But when Bayern Munich and Barcelona and Real Madrid fancy it, you're in real trouble. And it's one of the things I was going to talk about today. I think in sport it's about levels, and at the moment none of the English top 6 clubs can get near Bayern Munich or Barcelona or Real Madrid. That's a fact. And I don't care. I think any English club playing against Bayern Munich in that second half would have struggled.
What kind of Arsenal team would you like to face? Because obviously you stand a much better chance against the second string, but it must be an exciting moment for the club to face, the big players.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. You either get the likes of Ozil and Sanchez and Giroud, and I could just keep naming them, in which case we would lose the game comfortably, but the lads would get the experience of having played a Premier League giant. Or you go the other way and you play a team of 23s that are still internationals, by the way, mixed in with 1 or 2 of their squad players, and that gives us that 1% chance that we'd be after. I think if you see Ozil and Sanchez on the team sheet, our chance doesn't come beyond 0. But if they put another team out, then it does get up to the 1s and 2%.
What do you think a good result is then for Sutton?
The best result for the players would be a 0-0. Well, no, for you lot, probably a 3-3, 2-2. But if we were to get a draw and we could get back to the Emirates, it would be one of the biggest results in the Cup history. And for the players, I think half of my team support Arsenal. And for the chance for them to go to the Emirates and just have a great day out would be probably what would be their preferred result.
Did the players watch it together last night, do you know?
Well, we travelled on Tuesday morning to Leeds because we played up at Guiseley, and we didn't get back till yesterday afternoon. We're now back here again this morning. For us, we're a traditional non-league club that does Tuesdays, Thursdays, and this week, just because of the game and what's happening today, has meant that they've not been able to work either. So they wouldn't have spent last night together. They spent Tuesday night together. That was the.
I know what you're saying about levels, Paul, but after what happened last night, Arsenal are under more pressure, aren't they, ahead of this game?
It depends what Arsenal team you're talking about, because I think the Arsenal 11 or 13 that played last night are perceived to be under pressure. But if he puts a younger team out, then they can't be, put in the same bracket. So there's 2 ways of looking at how they cope with this or deal with it. And if they put the best side out and it's not the best game for them, they're going to win. But if it's not the best performance, but it's an open forum to criticise Arsenal Football Club and Arsene Wenger. And from our perspective, we're just over the moon that they're coming here. And my brother, who's a little bit richer than me, is got a nice bottle of red wine he's going to give me to give him. So we're going to treat them with a lot of respect and give them a nice Sutton welcome, because that's what this club's about.
Do you think he can afford not to play his best team? I mean, this is a crucial game for Arsenal's season.
Can he afford not to play his best team? If he played a team that beat Southampton, which I think everyone in this room knows that I'm a massive Southampton fan, and by the way, we'd have got them if Saints had bothered to beat Arsenal. If he puts out the team that beat Southampton 5-0, then that would hammer us, obviously. Our only chance is if he puts out an under-23 Premier reserve side, because National League sides can compete against academy players, and and would have a real chance.
Can you just reflect on what you've had to do to dedicate yourself to the club and what it means to reach this point?
Probably 17 years in management, 8 years at Eastleigh, 9 years at Sutton now. Obsessed with football from the age of probably 1, 2, whatever it is. Probably need football as much as it needs me in the context of what I do for the club. Been disappointed the last few days as well with some of the comments made about certain bits and pieces. The only people I care about is probably the 1,000 or so hardcore fans that we've got, which is a lot for a non-league club. But you get caught up in a circus in the main and what's happening here, and you just crave a bit of normality as well, because we're not used to it. And what the players have done is quite remarkable, because no one expected us to beat Forest Green, who were the best team in our league by a country mile. I think they won 9 games on the trot before we played them. I think the Dartford 6-3 game was one of the best games that I've ever watched. I mean that, it was an unbelievable game, 1-0, 1-2, 1-2. We then get Cheltenham, and me and Bairdy and Mickey Stevens went up to watch Crewe Cheltenham. The chairman let us stay at the Ibis, which I believe is a 3-star. And I think Cheltenham smashed Crewe on the night 4 or 5-0. I remember walking out that stadium thinking, we haven't got, seriously, that was a good performance from Cheltenham. We got another last-minute winner that day. You then get drawn against Wimbledon, your local derby, and they've had an amazing rise the last 15 years, but we've been in their shadow, no doubt about that. We have another sellout crowd here. We draw 0-0. We had a better chances. Everyone assumes, and me as well, that we get beat at Wimbledon on the Tuesday night, and we went and beat them. And then you get Leeds United, and it can't get much bigger than that for someone like us. And then you go and win that game, and suddenly you get drawn against Arsenal. And I'm trying to just take you through the path of, you asked the question. It's I don't know. It's something strange going on. And certainly all these last-minute winners that we keep getting it's just an unbelievable situation that's occurring to this football club this year.
And how much financially have you committed over the years?
It's 7 figures. It's over $1 million. It's been well reported, but it was an interest-free loan over 10 years. The biggest thing for me was getting the 3G pitch in, so we could bring all the children back here, the junior teams back here. You saw today over 100 children for half term, all our junior sides back here. And I did the same at Eastleigh. It's not well written about, but Eastleigh ended up with a 3G pitch, and all the stuff that I did at Eastleigh I brought to here. And the support base has grown and grown on the back of it. I think the best decision we ever made was to make season tickets, £5 to get in, free for children. So as a father now, you can bring your 2 kids down here for £5, and it's the best thing that we ever done. Our crowds have gone from 700 to nearly 2,000. And we are definitely picking up people that are disenfranchised, paying £100 for a Premier League ticket.
Has the chairman promised you anything if you get a result?
He's promised me my loan back.
Anything beyond that?
What would I want from the chairman? He's an unbelievable guy, and everyone who gave up their Sunday. We had 30 volunteers here. Sell 4,000 tickets in 4 hours. We all do it for nothing here. We're not an ex-League 2 club that's in the National League. Tranmere Rovers, there's some great clubs in the National League now, and we're not that either. We are still a traditional 2-day-a-week non-league club. What the chairman has done is backed into the vision, and he said to me years ago, let's go on a roller coaster ride then. And as he said to me the other day, the train's still going, and the comment we've used to each other, I think after the Wimbledon game, he said, what have you gone and done? And we've used that thing, what have you done? And I have ended up not realising it, but putting the club under enormous pressure the last month, because the media attention, people giving up their we've had people like Tony Dolbear, our press officer, who's had to actually take days off of work just to become a press officer. And that's what you need to write about. It's the volunteers here that have genuinely taken holiday days just to carry on, just doing what's a normal situation for everybody else. So I take my hat off to them, really. And I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a YouTube video of our under-10s team when Jamie Collins scored the penalty against Leeds. And amongst all the madness, that yesterday sort of almost that took a shiver up my spine, because to see the 10-year-olds, you know, and it was a good 1-minute video of it, and it was just, that sums what everything I've tried to get and achieve at the club.
Do you feel certain sympathy for Arsene Wenger as a fellow manager for what he's going through now?
Sympathy? No, I think he's well schooled. He's 20 years in the job. Ferguson, Mourinho, Guardiola, Wenger. Don't feel sorry for them at all, because they're in that mad world that's football. What's changed is that when we beat Coventry in 1989, and you had the likes of, you know, Brian Kilcline at centre half, proper players, what I would call proper players. They're now movie stars, the players who refuse to play in certain games if they don't like the changing rooms and don't like the toilets, and, you know, they don't like the League Cup apparently anymore. So it's changed in that regard. I think that managers now have to treat players differently. Wenger's getting criticised, I think wrongly as well, that he doesn't have enough leaders and enough this and that in the dressing room, but he still managed to qualify for the Champions League for the last 15 years. I'd rather be in Arsenal's position than Manchester United's playing in Europa League.
Speaking about the changing rooms, what do you reckon the likes of Ozil and Sanchez are going to make of your changing rooms when they rock up for the game?
Well, we thought about putting new shower heads in for about 2 seconds, and then thought, no. You know, at the end of the day, we haven't done it for any of the other teams that are coming down. Listen, it's only because we haven't been able to afford it. It's not us trying to be big and clever. One of the players said to me the other day, you know, when I played against you, it was always hot in the dressing room. I said, well, it's because we can't turn the rad off, the valve's gone. It's nothing clever. John Beck in the old days at Cambridge used to water and hose down the dressing rooms, and, you know, some great stories with John Beck. Ours is just lack of money. And the one thing that the cup run's going to do is it won't go into buying players, it won't go into, you know, our wage budget's very, very strict. But what it will do is we need 4 new dressing rooms for the younger ones. We're about to announce, or we're going to announce to you now, that we've signed the first time in the club's history. It's been in the making for 6 months, but the ground's going to be renamed the Knights Community Stadium. The Knights Community Stadium is basically runs academies, and we've got 100 16-year-olds starting here in September in the new school term. So we're looking hopefully to buy 4 dressing rooms, 4 shower rooms, and place them around the ground. And we've got a roof. I think everyone knows the roof. It's probably just about to leak on you there. Yeah, if you look up. No, we're doing the interview for the Leeds game, and it seriously did splash me on the nose, and someone laughed, and I laughed because then they went in the bar and slipped up because there was a leak by the bar as well. So we get the roof completely redone. The boiler's absolutely shot to pieces, which is why at best they'll get lukewarm showers. If you ask about the showers, I don't think we've got a water softener either, so I think the water's struggling to get through those 3 little pins in the shower head. So the reality is we will be able to, and I do mean this, be able to refurbish the whole club. We'll get all the academy sorted out, the juniors sorted out. I don't know if you were able to see Monday night because the floodlights are shocking. Chairman said we can add 2 more bulbs to each lamp, which is a big thing for us to get the extra 2 in. I think there's 6. How many? Is it 6 pylons? That's 12 extra bulbs. And if Arsenal can find a way, and there is a way, by the way, and this is a loaded question for my mate over there in a minute, but you know, there was talk of them giving us the TV money, and there was talk of us donating the gate receipts back, and you know, there is a way, because Arsenal can just go and buy those classrooms for us, and they can go and do all the things that we've said, and it would change every aspect of this football club, but for years to come. And you know, it's life changing for the club, and it will stay within the club for a few years to come as well. This isn't going to be blown overnight, but I promise you I will put new shower heads in the away dressing room.
A lot of managers might look at a cup run as a chance to get themselves in the shop window for a league job. I mean, it sounds like your only interest is turning this club, you know, improving this club, and you're not interested in any other job.
If anyone really knows me, and you sort of go back, I did the same at Eastleigh. We were in the Wessex League, and I got them to the National South. And one of my sort of ambitions was always to try and manage in the National League. My job and my family and football are the 3 things that keep me going. with all of us, we get it in the wrong order at times. It's normally football, family, and work, and that's and my wife and the children have probably suffered at times because of my obsession with the game. But then you watch my kids run on the pitch after the Leeds game, and that was, for me, that's priceless. To have that 1 minute with them after beating Leeds, and my wife was in the stand, and so family's clearly the most important thing to me. And I'm not being disrespectful. I've got going into League 2 or League 1, it holds no enthusiasm for me at all. I've got a very, very good company that I need to run. It's 30 years old, and it's very important. We employ over 100 people, and I'm not a CV manager. I've got no interest in going to any league club. But I am enjoying going to Tranmere Rovers and Lincoln's, and the National League for us is the holy grail for us. At the moment, and it's another point I'd like to pick up, if you don't mind, is that there's a split vote on the pitch going into League 1 and League 2. And most League 2 clubs are skint, and I mean skint. And if people can take anything from this cup run and you guys being here, it's the fact that we've gone, as I said, from having 0 children here, because they couldn't play on it because the pitch was so bad, to having hundreds, and I mean hundreds. That means the mums and dads come down, they're engaged in the club. And if League 1 and League 2 one club would vote to allow this unbelievable, and it's a brilliant pitch, by the way. It's been played in the SPL, it's been played in the World Cup for the women in Canada, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if they vote this pitch through and we get in the playoffs one year, then I'll become a league manager, because I would do it if I was here. But we'd still be Tuesdays, Thursdays. We might go to a Monday, but I wouldn't be here because I can't. But the reality is that we are the best non-league club. We want to be the best non-league club we can be, which has also meant trying to be approachable to everybody. Sorry.
Just how many good players are full-time dedicated to football, and how many have other jobs as well to grapple with?
I think, again, if you look at our record, what we've tried to get out there to everybody, to the younger players, is when you're released by Arsenal and you're released by Palaces and all the rest of it, that their lives go from like there and they go to there very quickly. And what we tried to do is get hold of the ones that are there and have got that chance. But for them, it's a mental thing as well. It takes us months to get them back to even enjoying football again. So the reality for us is we like to be a club that, like Jeffrey Monacana is a prime example of someone who's going to be and Jack Jebb, actually, both at Arsenal. Both were going to. One was going to be the new Jack Wiltshire. One was going to be the new winger through the block, and they both ended up here. And what we try and do is rehabilitate those players in a positive way. And then if another club in the football chain comes and wants to take them, then we welcome that. It's an unusual thing that a manager is wanting his players to progress, but that is the situation here.
What's the maximum wage, if you can say that?
Yeah, I don't mind. Listen, again, we're very open. Our best players here earn £600 a week net, and most of the lads earn between £450 and £500. But when we started here, it was 150, and it's gone to 250, and the wage bill here is 10 grand a week. Obviously, I don't take a wage. Ian Baird doesn't take a wage, nor does Mickey Stevens. So we're able to put all of our budget into our players. And if you've got 20 players in the squad, which we have, it averages out at £500 a week.
And for those on 600, this is their own job. They've not got other jobs on the side. So
no, they can work the other 3 days, but also there are their wives and girlfriends. Actually, some of them are a lot brighter, and it's not a shock, than some of my players. So Craig Eastman's wife is at university doing a degree, so he looks after the children for the other 3 days. And Craig Dundas is a personal trainer, also cares for his mum. I know Rory Deacon's a carer for his mum. So everyone's got their own personal circumstance. Simon Downer's wife is a very clever girl. She's in charge of a big department. So again, he's a house husband, and I think that's a real benefit. I think that I like our players to work. The young ones don't, because they're looked after by their mums and dads, and mainly the mums, and they still do their washing and their ironing. But I like the ones that get out and do some work as well, because that's what that's what I've got to do.
Paul, have you got a couple of players struggling for fitness? You had picked up
Yeah.
a couple of injuries at guys, and who's struggling?
Well, we had 9 out for Guiseley.
Yeah.
2 of those primarily because they were on 9 bookings, and I just couldn't. We even had to play Simon Downer in the end on Tuesday. With that short, that we risked Simon. Dean Beckwith, who would have played against Leeds, had his hamstring against Worthing on the Tuesday. Dean's close to being fit, and I thought he worked quite well from what I saw of it today. He worked well. Max Biamu's probably our best striker, who we'd like to be available, and he's having an injection in his ball of his foot today. So Dean's a doubt. Max is a bigger doubt. Jeffrey Monacana's out for definite with a hamstring. Bradley Hudson-Odoi's almost certainly out with a calf, although he's trying to. Did you see him run with a limp? He's trying to tell me he's fit. You know, I don't blame him, because it's the biggest game he'll ever want to be involved in. But so I didn't see much of it today. But Bradley says he feels sharp.
How much of a headache is that team selection for you?
It's been a real headache in the last month, because since the cup run started, I couldn't. You know, we thought the Leeds game would be the biggest game in a player's career. So we had players there on 9 bookings and 4 bookings, and again, it's a major issue of mine that, you know, the Premiership will play 36 games and we got to play 46 plus all these cup rounds to get to it. So we're playing nearly 60 games, but we get the same booking situation as anybody else. So our 5 bookings, or 10 bookings, are spread over 60 games, and other people are 36 games. It doesn't seem quite right to me. So we totally had to look at all the players, and it's been to the detriment of our league form. I think we were 9th when we started the run. I think we're 17th now. And at some point, you know, if the run does end on Tuesday, the one positive of that for us is that we will look at very quickly how we get back to where we want to be in the league, because we can't go down. That would be a disaster.
With regards to the gate receipts, you mentioned that there's been talk about Arsenal possibly giving that to you. Is that something which you or the chairman would try and have that conversation and ask Arsenal?
Well, why do you think I'm getting Arsene Wenger a 300 pound of red wine? There's a method to my madness. Yeah, listen. Again, already they've been approached by other people and asked the question. Arsenal's turnover is £330 million a year. Okay, and ours is, I think, 800,000. And they were superb. Their first reaction was, yes, you know, we'd love to do it. We'd love to do it. And it's a great PR story for them as well, because every penny they give us will go into the academy and, you know, supporting these kids actually that have been released from Premier League clubs. And we're going to give them that chance. And it's, as I said, the sponsorship from Knights community and going into Knights Academy means that, again, all the money that they're giving us is going to go into the academy. And I think you have got a responsibility. You know, there is a responsibility on clubs like us in this community to get lads that are 16, 17, 18, 19 not feeling that they're worthless. And without over-dramatising it, you know, a lot of the kids that are coming out of these academies from the professionals, it's a very difficult path for them to mentally get their heads around it, and it does lead to some bad situations. And we're a little beacon at the moment. And we will make it happen, but unfortunately in life it's all about the money, and whether we can the only way we can make all this happen is if we get as much out of the cup run as we can. And all I can promise everyone is we won't waste a penny of it. Is everything that we've got is geared up to going back into the infrastructure and making this club better in 10 years, 20 years time. So that's the principle.
Do the players released by Arsenal playing for you now feel they have a point to prove, or do they just try and think of it as playing as well for Sutton as they can? No,
I think the lads got released because they weren't good enough. That they know that. I mean, it's a fact that, you know, that a very, very small percentage can ever make it in the Premiership. I think that they're looking forward to it more. I've got to say that. I don't think it's necessarily a point to prove, but I think what you'll find is the likes of Eastman and Deacon on the night, you know, when you talk about how do people raise their game at any sport, you'll see a Sutton United team that, regardless of the result and the score, will probably raise its game to its highest ever level, because they'll run through brick walls to give it their best shot.
You mentioned Jeffrey Monacana there. How's he taken missing out? Because this is probably a one-time chance.
It's a bit different for Jeff, because he's only come to me about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So he's not really been a massive part of the cup run. To be honest, if Rory Deacon had missed it, I'd have felt devastated, or Eastman had missed it, because they've been massive parts of what we've been doing. If my skipper had missed it, Jamie Collins. But the difference with Jamie Collins is he's old school. You know, he is the builder that you're all looking for. If you want a story, Jamie is the bricklayer, the plasterer, massive West Ham fan. Does his 2 days football, works 3 days, gets up at 5 in the morning to go to work. Has a Sunday off probably, and that's his day. And that day's football, because he takes all of his boys to their football. So he's the classic non-league person that we all used to think about 20 years ago. You know, the postie that was delivered on the day of the game. We've moved on a bit since then, but there's one or two that actually do proper work, what I'd call proper work anyway.
Next week ends, of course, with Wembley, presumably, for yourself.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to get the 4 tickets that we needed. I had a lovely text from Les Reed as well after we got the draw, just saying I'm sorry we couldn't have done better against Arsenal. I sort of modelled myself a little bit on what Southampton have done, because I think the model here, which was to bring young players in, improve them, and then let them move on, is not a lot different to what Southampton have done. Our budget within the National League sits within what Southampton have probably got within the Premier League. So, you know, naturally I take a lot of references from the club. I was very fortunate when Alan Pardew was manager that the club asked me to help find him a house because of my job, and I got to know Alan from there, and he invited me, and I was able to go into virtually every training session for, you know, as long as I wanted, and picked up loads and loads from a superb coach, by the way, and watched the sessions. So with all these sort of connections with Southampton, you know, as I said, apart from the fact we were one game away from drawing them, the whole family, you know, there's about 30 of us season ticket holders, are all going up. I think 9:20 train from Winchester, and praying that we can do a Bobby Stokes in a 1976 against them. Doubtful.
Alan was in the stands for the last game. Will he be back for this one? And have you picked his brains? He's had a few wins against Arsenal before.
No, it's Alan's here. He supported the club, you know, even at the start of the cup run, and he's been a great friend to the club. He's actually a friend of one of the directors, and it's through his wife and I think the horsing fraternity. Matt Letizia is a good friend of mine from the Southampton days, and Matt's coming up as my guest, and so is Laurie McMenemy, who, you know, as a Southampton fan, he is the one. So Laurie's coming up and Matt's coming up, and Alan Pardew's coming up. You know, we had David Weir here in the last round. You know, Ricky Boylan, a boxer from this area, has been brilliant. And you know, it's that little bit of nice bit of sugar on top to get those types of people that want to come and support us on the day.